Denmark joins a handful of European nations in an effort to ban the public use of Islamic face veils. One America's Christian Rose has more.
Anguish and resentment spread among the Islamic communities across Denmark. The ban on public display of the Islamic veil goes into effect, sparking street rallies of both the supporters and opponents of the move. The Danish government decided to slap restrictions on political Islam last year after realizing the nation of 6 million people is being overrun by Islamic mass migration. While official figures suggest that 300,000 Danish Muslims make up only 6% of the country's population, the number of non-citizens and illegal immigrants is much greater.
Well, we want to take a stand against political Islam, and we want to do this by banning the headscarf, the scarf where you have covered all of your face, so you're not able to see the other person's face.
Danish immigration authorities found roughly 50% of legal immigrants come from Islamic countries. But EU's loose border controls and the rampant mass migration crisis threaten to make the Danish people a minority in their own country, a demographic shift just a generation away.
We think that it's a core value in the Danish society and also in other Western society that you're able to see the person that you're talking to. And also we want to take a stand against the fundamentalist groups within the Danish society.
Left-wing parties and Muslim activists took to the streets to protest the ban of Islamic veils. They claim the policy is a grave infringement on their right to self-expression, religious freedom and civil rights.
You know, we are actually strong, independent women who are fighting for their right to keep wearing what they want to wear, and that we won't give up. So this kind of rhetoric and this racist discourse is not doing any good for the politicians or the country.
But the government and Danish law enforcement say they've had enough after dealing with a mounting set of issues on a daily basis since the wave of Islamic mass migration reached Denmark back in 2015. Official data suggests 10 out of 12 rapists in Denmark are Islamic migrants, while terror plots have mushroomed across the country in recent years. Let alone a massive surge in trade in illicit drugs and weapons, such as grenades, arriving with the migrants headed for Scandinavia along the infamous Balkan route.
We are part of the Schengen agreement, so we have open borders, and Sweden and Norway, they have now control with their borders, and we would like, of course, to have that as well.
In addition to the ban on Islamic veils, Denmark has reinforced its another important policy, the assimilation law. The new rules mandate immigrant children as young as 1 year old must take 30 hours a week of Danish values. Albeit it applies to children from all backgrounds, no matter whether their parents came from the United States or Afghanistan, the law was blasted as the ghetto package by Denmark's left. Muslims aren't happy either, as Denmark prohibits Islamic sexualization of children by forcing young girls into wearing headscarves, while another sticking point for Islamic ideologists is Denmark's gender equality.
It's gonna make my life hard. I'm gonna be, of course, I'm sad about it. I hope that I could keep on living in peace, but this is the reality now, and I just have to arrange my life so that I can maybe get through the loopholes of the law, hopefully.
Nonetheless, the globalist left has claimed the Burqa ban discriminates against women, despite women being brutalized, oppressed and beaten to death under the Sharia law for violating its demented morality code. For example, Iranian women traveling to this year's football championship in Russia abandoned their Islamic veils once passing immigration in Russia's airports. And Denmark unequivocally said no more appeasement to the corrosive Islamic norms, degrading and perverting the very basic forms of social life all across Europe.
I think you should have the opportunity to look your people in the eye and see each other's faces, because there is so much going on in your non-verbal expressions.
Denmark is not the first European country to ban the Islamic veil, following the example of France and Austria. And the ongoing rise of pan-European consciousness suggests the world's most diverse continent is in for a firm rebuke of the globalist-backed Islamization, terror and genocide against the Christian civilization.